Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, you will learn how to add and manage multiple forms for tickets. I will show you how to enable the Multiform feature and how to configure web widgets and web forms with separate ticket forms. The Multiform feature in BoldDesk allows admins to create multiple ticket forms and associate them with their brands. They can customize separate forms for different requests or issues. Let's say we want to have separate ticket forms for technical support, sales support, and general inquiries for a brand's AutoPlus. As admins, we can create a form for each, tailor them, and associate them with particular brands. First, I need to enable the Multiform feature. I log into the agent portal as an administrator and open the Admin Center. In the Settings section, I click the General option to open the General Settings page. I locate and switch on the Enable Multiform for Tickets option. I click Update to save the change. Next, I navigate to the Fields and Forms section in the Admin Center and select Ticket Forms to open the list of existing forms. The brand-based forms will be marked as the default forms and can be modified. To add a new ticket form, I click the Add Form button. Here, I enter the label for Agent Portal and Customer Portal, provide a form description, and select the brands to associate with this form. You can associate a form to multiple brands. If you would like to use the form for a specific web widget or web form, mark the Enable in Web Widget or Web Form checkbox. To allow users in the Customer Portal to select the form, I mark the Visible in Customer Portal checkbox. Finally, I click the Create button to add the form. It will be added to the form listing page. Next, let me show you how to configure the forms. On the Forms listing page, I select a form to configure and click its label for the Agent Portal. The form configuration page shows all the fields linked to the form, with system fields remaining the same for all forms. You can add custom fields specific to each form as required. To learn more about customizing ticket forms in BoldDesk, follow the link in the card above and description below. Now, let's take a moment to configure the forms for the brand AutoPlus, where I have 3 forms. For the technical form, I add fields related to technical queries, product or service, operating system, and software version. I click Add to save the changes. For the sales form, I add the fields billing country, lead source, and expected date of purchase. For general queries, I add the fields request type, item type, and request for. Now, let me show you how the forms will appear in a ticket creation form. Enabling ticket forms for the Customer Portal allows end users to select a form to use for specific requests. By clicking the Create Ticket button, a default form will open. On the Form field dropdown, I can select from the forms I created. Next, I'll show you how to change the form on an existing ticket. I navigate to the Tickets module and open the ticket that needs the form change. On the right side of the Details page, I choose the form I want from the drop-down field. Then, I fill in the necessary details and click Update to save the changes. Note that in the Customer Portal, the Form Selection drop-down will appear only if multiple forms are set to be visible in the form configuration settings. If there is only one form, the drop-down will not be displayed. Now, I'll show you how to map forms to a brand. On the Ticket Forms' listing page, mark the Show Forms Not Associated with a Brand checkbox to list only the forms that are not mapped to a brand. To view a list of forms mapped to a specific brand, I select the brand from the drop-down menu, and the list will be displayed. I can associate the brand with other forms by clicking the Add Form button. I can select the New option to create a new form or Existing option to map an existing form. I select the Existing option, and a dialog box appears displaying a list of the forms not mapped to the selected brand. I choose the forms I wish to associate with the brand and click Add to complete the mapping. Now, I'll show you how to set a default ticket form for a brand, the one that will automatically open whenever a user needs to create a ticket. First, I select the form from the list and click the More Actions icon next to it. Then, I select the Set as Default option and confirm the action. Note that only ticket forms that are visible in the Customer Portal and enabled for the web widget or web form can be set as the default form for a brand. You can also reorder the forms associated with the brand by dragging and dropping the forms to the desired positions. They will be displayed based on this order in the Form field drop-down menu. To remove a form from a brand, I click the Remove icon next to the form. A dialog box opens to confirm the removal. If there are tickets created using the form, you will be required to select a different form mapped to the current brand to which to migrate those tickets. Once selected, I click the Yes, Remove button. Note that forms that are mapped to any web widget or web form cannot be removed from the brand. Therefore, you first need to remove it from the web form or web widget in order to remove it from the brand. Now, let me show you how to configure ticket form for web widgets and web forms. This customization is done when creating or editing a web form or widget. For detailed information on how to set up embedded widgets in BoldDesk, follow the link in the card above and description below. On the Contact Form section, I select Contact Form with Ticket Fields. Next, I select a form to map with this widget and update the settings. You can only set up ticket forms for widgets and web forms if the Contact Form with Ticket Field setting is enabled. Finally, let's see how to manage ticket forms. There are options to edit, deactivate, or activate the deactivated forms. To edit a ticket form, select Edit from the More Actions menu. Modify the form details as needed and click Update to save the changes. To deactivate a form, select the Deactivate option. Then, click the Deactivate button on the confirmation dialog to deactivate it. Forms that have been set as default for any brand cannot be deactivated. To delete a form, select the Delete option from the menu. Then, click the Delete button in the confirmation dialog, and the form will be deleted. Note that the Delete Form option will only be available for forms that are not associated with any brand. So forms mapped to a brand cannot be deleted. And that's all for multi-form customization. Let me summarize. In this video, I demonstrated how to enable the Multiform feature, add multiple forms for tickets, and customize fields for the forms. I also demonstrated how to map a form to a web widget or web form and use multiple forms in the customer portal. If you found this video useful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.